Ladies and gentlemen, federal employees, today we're talking about FEGLI, your federal employee group life insurance. If you cancel it, can you get back in? That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, this was actually based on a question we received from someone just like you, a federal employee just like you, and you can actually submit questions for us to answer in future episodes. There's a link in the description, so feel free to do that. But let's jump in. Long story short, again, like we talked about, FEGLI, that is the FEGLI, right? It's an ugly name, but that is what it's called, Federal Employee Group Life Insurance. Long story short, when you're first hired, you decide how much of this to have. There's lots of different parts, and some of the parts get very expensive as you age. So first things first, I would definitely make sure you understand what life insurance coverage you have. What are you paying for? Is it too much? Is it not enough? You want to make sure you understand those details. But what happens if you cancel it? Can you jump back in and get more coverage later? And that's a great question. The short answer is maybe. Okay, that's the short answer. The long answer is, well, there's a couple things you can look out for. First, if there's a FEGLI open season, you can jump in without going through medical underwriting or anything. You can jump back in. But the problem is open season for FEGLI isn't scheduled. It's not a normal thing. The last time I think it was in 2016 or something like that. It's been a while. And again, they're not scheduled. We don't know if and when they're going to happen. It's not like FEHB that happens every year. It doesn't work that way. Okay. However, if you have a qualifying life event, for example, getting married, divorced, having a baby, adopting a baby, there's certain life events like those things I just mentioned that if they happen, you can jump in or just increase your FEGLI during that time. And again, I'll mention this, during open season, you're able to increase your FEGLI. Even if you haven't canceled it, you can increase it during these times. Now, one thing I will say is you can always get rid of or lower your FEGLI at any time. You can always do that. You can always go down, okay? But if you want to go up, if you want to increase your coverage or add it back in, again, these things have to happen. Now, the one exception to that is at any time, if you want to go through medical underwriting, like them to do a full physical on you, take your blood, do the whole thing, you can do that and get coverage, assuming they want to cover you, assuming you're healthy, then you can get back in at any time with a medical. Okay, so let's summarize this. Long story short, you could cancel FEGLI at any time, but if you want to increase it, number one, you got to wait for an open season, but they're not scheduled. We don't know when and if it's going to happen again. You can have a life event like getting married, divorce, having a baby, okay? Or if none of these things happen, you can always go through medical underwriting. And if you're healthy, they'll cover you. If you're not healthy, they may not cover you. And honestly, if you are healthy, there's probably better alternatives to FEGLI out in the private sector. I don't know every situation. That's what I've seen most of the time. That you could probably find cheaper alternatives to FEGLI if you are healthy in the private sector. If you're not healthy, FEGLI for many people is a great option, but these are some rules of thumb. But again, if you have questions you want us to answer on future episodes, there's a link in the description to submit those. I hope that's helpful. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.